Hey GED students, it's GED question of the daytime, and I'm still looking for lies around here. So directions say one of the statements below is a lie. Can you spot the fraud? I've got a subject that, again, that a lot of students struggle with, and that's the concept of negative numbers. Now, the good news is most of the time negative numbers come up on the GED, you will have a calculator. But the bad news is they can show up, especially common in order of operation problems in the first 5 where you won't have a calculator. So it does help to have a little bit of negative common sense. So let's build that common sense. So I'd like to start with B because people do the weirdest stuff for me with negative numbers. It's like negatives never made sense to them. So there's a lot of different ways you can conceptualize adding and subtracting negative numbers, but probably my favorite 2 ways. So of all the topics I've ever taught, this one is the one that students have the most different ways that it clicks with them to think about. So if you don't like either of these 2 ways, don't feel bad. There's other teachers who teach other ways. There is a way that will click with your brain. But my favorite 2 ways to think about adding and subtracting negative numbers are 1 with a number line, or 2 to think about money. So I'm going to start with my number line. A number line is just simply a number. A line like this has some part of the number system on it. I'm going to have 0 here since I want to look at positive and negatives on either side. And then you do negative numbers going off to the left. 2, 3, 4, 5. So here's negative 5. Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So according to this first problem, that's where I'm starting, at negative 5. Here I am. Now, it would like me to, after I start at negative 5, to add 5 to that. So I can do that. I add by going off in the positive directions. Things get greater there. As I add 5, I'm going to go off in the positive direction. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see if I start at negative 5 and I add positive 5 to that, well, they cancel each other out. I get to 0, which should make sense because negative 5, positive 5 are what we call additive inverses. They're opposites of each other when adding, and so they add to 0. So wonderful. This was not a fraud. This was true. It is true that negative 5 plus 5 equals 0. Another way, if you don't like my number line, to think about it is money. If I owe you $5 and then I pay down $5, I will owe you nothing anymore. We've got a balance of 0 between us. Okay. Okay, let's try, now that we've done the easy one, I'll go in order here. Let's try negative 5 plus 4. So a lot of students go, oh, look, 5 plus 4 is 9. I'll just slap on a negative and tell me that the answer is negative 9. Is that a true assumption? Let's test it using the 2 methods we talked about, the number line and the money. So starting with the number line, I got 0 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 5 is way back here. If I wanted to add 4 to that, would I get to negative 9? Let's take a look. Well, adding 4 means going in the positive direction 4. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, obviously, I didn't go back to negative 9. I moved up, in fact, closer to 0. Where am I at? I'm just 1 behind 0, so I'm at negative 1. This was a lie. Okay, so I said that we could explain this 2 ways. So we ended up at negative 1, yes, when we did negative 5 plus 4 on a number line. But let's take a look at where I would end up if I thought about it like money, my other favorite way to explain this. So if you're thinking about it in money terms, negative numbers are like what you owe. So I want you to imagine that you owe somebody $5. But the positive numbers are what you have. You can give that to them. You start paying your debt down. Now, every time you pay them $1, you're going to owe 1 less. So you pay them the first $1, you now only owe them $4. You pay them the second $1, you only owe them $3. You pay them the third $1, you're down to $2. You pay them that fourth $1, and you're down to only owing them $1. You'll owe them $1 if you start out owing them 5 and pay them 4. So either way, whether you're thinking of it with a number line or you're thinking of it as money or any of the other wonderful ways that you can model negative numbers, this answer just doesn't make sense. I don't care what rules you've forgotten and mushed together and memorized that your math teacher tried to teach you. This is not a sensible answer, so that must be a lie. Now let's check the others. So 12 minus 17 means that I was starting at the number 12, way here, 12 past 0. But then from there, I went down 17. I subtracted 17. So you can imagine I go down the first 12, I'm at 0, but I have to keep going. So we'll go, I'm going to make a few more markings here. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I'm obviously more negative than 0. How much more? Well, negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at negative 5. That makes sense. Or another way to think of it, you know, if you have 12 bucks and you spend 17, you are in a world of hurt in your bank account. My goodness, you're at a negative 5 balance. You spent more than you had. Yeah, probably on top of that, you're also going to get some insufficient funds fees, but that being said, just by making that one $17 payment, you are at negative 5. So this answer makes sense. Either way you think of it, it is not the lie. And then negative 7 minus 13, students commonly think this should be a 1, but let's look at our two real-life applications to see. Let's start with the movement model. Again, if I'm at negative 6, guys, I'm already back behind 0. I'm starting behind 0. And then if I minus 7 from that, I'm going 7 less than negative 6. I'm going to go in the less than direction. 7 more. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 off to the left. So that'll put me at negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, negative 12, negative 13. So you can see I end up at negative 13 there. Let's try it thinking about money. Let's imagine that I owe $6 and then I go and I spend another $7. My account goes down by another 7. I was already at negative 6 and then I spent another $7. Of course, my account is going to get further into the negative. Now I owe $13. I am in a lot of trouble. Either way you model it, that one works. Again, if the rules you have memorized from your math teachers are giving you answers that disagree with your common sense, then something's gone wrong with your rules, okay? Math should make sense. So the lie here, the fraud was A. We saw it right from the very start. If you have any questions about this or any other math topic, be sure to drop it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it.